Kedon Slovis transferred to BYU from Pitt this offseason after spending 3 seasons at USC, 6'3", 215 pounds. He told us that after seeing Zach's progress from his sophomore to junior seasons, he called Zach, said, "Who you training with?" And Zach said, "John Beck." And then he got with you, so you've been working with him for a couple of years now. What can BYU fans expect to see on September 2nd?
Which one? Which game is the September 2nd? Is that the Sam
That's
Houston
the
State
opener against Sam Houston. It's like nobody knows anything of, like, how's he going to fit in here? What's he going to do? So against Sam Houston, he better throw for 700.
We should see a bunch of touchdowns. We should see a bunch of touchdowns, right? I mean, look, I'm super excited for Kedon. He's worked hard over the years. He's battled through stuff that, not everybody knows what guys are going through. They don't know what they're trying to overcome. And when they put themselves out there in a season, it's not like every season you just get to go out there and be 100%. A lot of the times you've been working the offseason trying to overcome something. And guess what? It's game time and you got to go take what you got and play. And so I'm just really excited because for the time that I've been around Kedon, this is probably the healthiest that Kedon's been. He's really happy to be at BYU. He's been putting in good work there. I think he's a very talented player. I've said it before. I think I said it on Ben's show, but Kedon actually had a Senior Bowl invite for this year's Senior Bowl. He could have gone, and he turned all that down to go to BYU and have what he believes can be a really good year there. So, it's been great to see him link up with the coaches. It's been great to see him with his teammates. It's been great to have guys out here already throwing with Kedon. And I'll see him when I head up to Provo as well. I just think there's a skill set there that's going to fit A-Rod's offense really well. He's going to have a lot of guys around him that have been in that offense. It's not something where somebody comes in and they're like, all right, I'm going to take the current group, teach them the offense, and let's go grab a quarterback from outside of it, teach him the offense, and let's try to make things work, which that kind of happens in this transfer era. But what cool thing is he's coming into BYU with the same coordinator that's been there for a long time with a lot of guys that have experience around him. And I think all of that's going to really help. And I expect that when they enter the season, it looks pretty well like a well-oiled machine, and he's got some great chemistry with the guys.
I was going to ask you about, you spent a lot of time with him, John, and he, the thing that's really interesting that I'm hearing out of practice from the players and the coaches is, man, this kid just fits in here. And they're not talking about scheme and all that. They're just like, we're really pleasantly surprised. It just seems like he's been here forever with these guys. He's very comfortable here, seems to fit in with the culture. The whole, this is an LDS institution, doesn't seem to even faze him. What can you tell us about his background and your work with him that's allowing him to fit in so well with this team right now?
Well, it's who Kedon is. He's just a great person, just a good person. Does all the things the right way. He works hard. He's punctual. He's always very kind and always saying thank you. He's always grateful. I mean, some of those, characteristics of just a good human being that he demonstrates all the time. And, he's motivated. He wants this year to be a great year. People can feel when somebody's motivated and driven, right? It just emanates from them and it's magnetic. Guys want to be around guys that are driven. And that's why, I don't tell all of our quarterbacks that we train, hey, you guys should consider going to BYU. I don't do that. But in Kedon's case, as we were having conversations at the beginning part where he was thinking about transferring, it just, it felt like it could be a fit, not only because of the skill set that I think would fit good, but exactly what you just talked about. The person has to be a fit as well. And I try to take those things into consideration when I do reference BYU as a place of all right, well, as a leader of the type of people that are there, would it be a good fit? And I can tell that Kedon's enjoying it. Kedon has expressed to me as well, this has just been a really good fit. Even better than I could have thought. Obviously you try to make an informed decision as best as you possibly can. You try to rely on the people that are giving you information, but you don't have a lot of time to do it, right? You enter the transfer portal, all of a sudden you're talking with the coaches and you got to make a decision pretty quick. And you try to talk to players that have played there. You try to talk to current players. And at the end of the day, there's a little bit of I'm going to call it faith, right? And just that faith that this feels like it could be a good spot. And I think from all my interactions with Kedon since he made that decision, I know he's really happy with it.
Well, he comes in with 34 starts against P5 opponents. Jaron Hall's 11 is the most in school history. How valuable is that experience for Slovis as they go into the Big 12?
Well, it's going to be really big because that's what this Big 12 move is all about. It's about on a weekly basis. Those are the type of opponents that they're going to be playing. I think it's super exciting to, outside of even Kedon, just to be a BYU player right now and to go through this move and to go through the schedule that it's going to be.
it's exciting. And, you know, I love challenges. And I think this is a really cool moment for Kedon in his life, because he knows the next year he'll have an opportunity to some capacity to show what he can do to NFL teams. But there's this thing that, like, he wants to be able to do things and finish his career on a high note. And it's like this cool thing where BYU's coming into the Big 12. Kedon wants to finish off on a high note. He's been working really, really hard. It's like this fit. I mean, it's like all these things that are coming together. And look, at times in life, we feel like those things are coming together, go great, and it ends up being a disaster. And sometimes things come together and it's magical. And I'm really hoping that this can be the latter, right? I really hope that things can go well for him, because like we've talked about, he's just an absolutely awesome young man. He does all the things the right way. He's talented. And I'm really happy for what the fit so far has looked like.
You know, John, he was on campus at practice during spring ball. This is before he had made his final decision, and I had a really nice conversation. He was there with his parents and talked to his parents as well. And I said, why BYU? Like, why are you here? And he just said, I look at BYU and I feel like this is a place where I can really fit in. He goes, I understand the culture. I grew up in Arizona. And he's like, and this is the kind of offense I want to play in. This is the type of coaching staff I want to play for. I feel like they can help develop me. And if I work hard enough, I can make myself this year lead this team to a bunch of victories and make myself a better pro prospect. And in my mind, I'm like, oh man, we have got to get this kid. Like, I was just so impressed with that, with his reasoning of why he was even there on campus. And the Pine kid from Notre Dame was there at that same time. And I know BYU kind of had their pick, and they talked to you, and those things that he was saying made them go, no, this is the direction we want to go. We want Kedon Slovis. And I'm with you. I hope he has a phenomenal year.